Hey guys, back again. Just can't help myself. Should be going to bed, but I'm like a can of Pringles when it comes to FIFA. Once you pop, you can't stop. And I'm hopefully by staying up, I grow my beard back because I'm missing it. So we've just done the Premier League video, and now we're back with Bundesliga video. Bundesliga is probably one of the leagues that I start with, generally because there's some decent players in there, and they tend to be quite cheap as well. The problem you've got though is a lot of the Bundesliga players this year are left, so there's not too many options. So this might be quite an expensive team to get started with. But anyway, guys, before we get started, if you can subscribe to my videos, give it a comment as we go if you see anything that you disagree with or anything that I may have missed. But yeah, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and in we go to the video. So we'll start with keepers. Now, keepers, again, there's not too many, but again, these are budget squads, so we're not going for any big names. But we'll go with Coble. He's 6'4". He's got some really good stats. The only thing that may let him down is his speed. So if you want to rush this keeper out, I'd really advise against it. But his reflexes, everything else is up there for a good starter keeper. One of my favourite left backs to start with in any game of FIFA is not Blanco Leszczuk. It is Schultz. Really good, well-rounded card, fairly cheap, always gets overlooked, but he's got good pace, passing's decent, his stats are just really well-rounded, and he's always a cheap starting card to get going with. One of the few options in the Bundesliga though this year, so again this may affect prices. Now this is where prices are going to get really silly with defenders, because there's just not that many viable Bundesliga defenders. But one we will be going for is Tapsoba. Again, pace up there with a shadow, 85 pace. It's decent enough at the beginning. Obviously, just don't be dragging your defenders out. He's got okay passing. He's not great on the ball, but his defensive stats are right where you want them to be. Tall player as well, so quite physical. So again, just be careful not to drag him out. Don't try to do anything on the ball. Too technical. Just get it out to your wide players or oof it up the pitch. Generally, when they've got lower passing, to get it out wide and then go from there to somebody with slightly higher passing. But if in doubt, oof it out. We're going to pop him with Niakate, I believe is how you pronounce it. So slightly faster. Again, not too great on the passing side of things or the dribbling side, but again, we're at the beginning of the game. These are budget players, starter players, but defensively, can't really go wrong. He's going to be fairly cheap, and one of the better options in the Bundesliga to start you off. Over on the right-hand side of things, very few options on the right now, but we'll go with a guy who does the rounds and always cheap, always pops up in packs, and you can't really fault him. Not the fastest players, but for what he offers, where you can pick him up and the options you've got available, Mukiel, you can't go wrong with him. Probably get an upgraded card down the line as well. Not too much to say on that right side of things. Left side, wide players, again we sit with a 4-4-2. You can use cam players if you want. I normally play in a 4-2-2, but you want a bit of pace in your team. There's not too much in terms of what's out wide. In fact, let's start from the back first. So we'll go with your CDMs first to cover that back line. So one player that I expect to see pop up in a lot of packs and not be too expensive. Bellingham, he's got some good stats, especially in regards to passing and whatnot. Decent pace, good dribbling, good defensive stats, so can get forward should you need him to. But with him high work rates, he's going to also cover your back line as well. And then partnered with him, this is where it can get a little bit tricky, to be fair. Who I would go for is Adams. Again, good pace, not so much of a good shot on him, but he's got decent passing, he's got that dribbling, nice defensive stats, so well-rounded card. You get a sort of strong link to Mukiel as well, should you want to hybrid out. Bellingham's the same with Schultz as well. But again, for budgets, until you start, the next sort of set of players in the midfield are going to rocket sort of up in price, as it were. So you sort of limited options with what you've got in regards to who you can start in the midfield. So over on the left is again lack of options. No, not Bellingham. Who are we having on the left? No, he's over on the right. So I'll go over to the right then. Sorry, it is nearly 3 AM. Wolf, again, not too many options available. With, you know, what's on the market and who you can upgrade to, you've got two choices really. We'll go over the other one shortly, but again, for what he offers starter wise, you can't really go wrong. I mean, he's got good work rates again, he's got that pace, he's got the shooting and the passing, so you can't really go wrong over on that side. Now over on the left, you've only got two options, as you'll see here. Oops, no. Before you start getting really silly now, the first one we'd go for is Thurm. Again, he's got okay pace, okay shooting with a chemistry style. His passing's not too bad, his dribbling's not too bad, and he's got decent physicals should you want to cut inside with him. Again, sort of lacking until you sort of jump up to your Sane's and things like that. Same over on the right hand side. You've not got that too many options now. Sancho's left as well, until Hazard gets a card. So Thurm, again, decent links with the French should you want to hybrid out. But as a well-rounded cheap card, gold card, common card, not too bad. Now the strikers is where you're really going to sort of struggle with the Bundesliga, because there's only a couple of options available until you get to Lower and Haaland. And the problem with them is, I mean, they're never too expensive, just because they don't play that well in the game. But strikers, we're going to go with a good old fan favourite. Now Bibu, now because of his pace, he might be quite expensive, but unfortunately you're not going to have too many options in regards to having pacey strikers up front. Now because of his rating, he might not hold it, and because it's the Bundesliga, everybody's going to be wanting to run in Premier League and League One sides this year, I do expect. So Bibu is the option, and the other one, the only other real option we've got up front is Mbolo. Again, nice pace, okay shooting, okay passing, not terrible dribbling for this stage of the game, but really good physical. So with Bibu, he's a bit more agile on the ball, and Mbolo can sort of get in there, be a hold-off player and sort of poacher. So we'll move on to the bench now. The bench is going to be the most, and your upgrades. When I say bench, this is not going to be your subs. This is going to be players that you're looking either to upgrade to or use as an alternative, or if you get one of these players, then you know you want to be playing these over position. Now we'll start with keepers again until you sort of get Neuer. Hradeki's going to be your next best option. He always pops up in your packs. 6'4" again. He's got good diving, his speed, his positioning's well good. Again, a solid keeper for the Bundesliga before you start jumping up to the only real option, who's sort of Neuer. There you're going to be able to pick up cheap. At left back, you've got no options. The one player you're going to want to look out for, who's going to last all the way up to team at year, is Davies, unfortunately. Now, he is going to be absolutely ridiculously expensive. He's hard to link in unless you're running a Bundesliga squad, obviously. His rating, you know, you'd expect him to pop up in packs, but he's just one of them cards like Mendy that just you don't see him at all. But if you get lucky enough to pack him and you're not running a squad, then brilliant, you're going to be in the coins. If you do, then you've got your centre back, you've got your left back set up for, till team at year at least. For the Bundesliga now, your centre backs are a massive upgrade to what these two guys offer you. But again, just because of what they are, I expect them to be expensive. Now, the first one, only 76 rated card, but he's got 91 pace, and that's what you want. So I expect to see this guy in people's squads. I don't know how they're going to link him in. Obviously, you've got, you could link him into the Premier League squads quite easily. With some players, keeper might be a bit of an option. But this guy, for a 76 rated card, he's got 91 pace. The rest of the stats are irrelevant. I mean, his dribbling's quite good as well. His defensive stats are okay, nothing special. His passing's not, but again, you just want somebody to close players down, and that's exactly what this guy is going to do. Another option who's not usually too expensive, but really solid, I'll carry you through as an upgrade, is Akanji. Again, good pace for a starter defender, really well-rounded stats aside from that, and he's always a go-to favourite should you pack him or be able to upgrade. And the last one is Upamecano. Now again, not too bad on the pace, good solid French links there, so you can start hybriding out, especially should he drop a special card. Really solid defensive stats, again passing, things along those lines you're not too worried about at this stage anyway. But again, he's a solid upgrade on the two starters that we've picked. So any of them three defenders, if you pick them, you pack them or you can afford them, your quid's in. Right back, there's only one option. Again, another player that you'll see played at centre back. You'll see him in teams until he gets a special card. Mbabu. He doesn't, if I remember right, he's not always too expensive. He normally sits something under 10k for a 79 rated card. But again, you're playing a Bundesliga squad. This is the guy that you want in your squad. And as I say, people will probably still play him at centre back anyway. I'm not 100% sure how fullbacks at centre back are going to be affected this year. I know they said there is going to be a penalty for it, but we'll have to see. Midfield is another option where once you get out of these guys, which are good enough, but again, it's a bit lacking. But two players you want to look out for. One being Zakaria, the one that we're all sick of seeing with his green card. Was it Summer Heat or whatever it was, Festival of Foot this year? It popped in every pack. But again, solid with that passing, pace. His defensive stats, a solid upgrade for midfield. And the other one is everybody's favourite, Emery Chan. Again, another solid option that if you don't get older Bellingham, Adams, you've got Zakaria in there who should be fairly cheap. You've got Emery Chan in there as well, who's just because of his defensive stats is a really solid option. Over on the left, there's only really one option until you get into the top cards, and again, it's a player that I expect to be expensive. Now his shooting's woeful, his passing's decent, his dribbling's really good. But it's that pace again, and that's why I expect his price to be up there. Maybe not, but this guy, apart from the shooting, which it depends whether you want the passing or the shooting. Passing's, similar, but this officer obviously it's a bit get it out, offers a bit more of an attacking threat, but stats wise, pace wise, you've got that high-low rate as well to cut in. Diaby's going to be a guy. Over on the right, again, this one's going to be between Wolf and Bellarabi. Not a lot in it, but there's nothing really on the right-hand side now. Sancho's gone. So Bellarabi is going to be your guy here. Again, I don't expect him to be two, so whether you want Wolf or Bellarabi, again, flip of a coin who you pull out a pack, but he's just another option there. And then strikers, until you get to them top tier strikers, there's only one striker that you want to be looking for in the Bundesliga, and that is Marlon. And purely because of that pace, again, 90 pace, shoot him with a hunter on, hawk. At this stage of the game, you can get away with, some of the less pace, but let's be honest, everybody wants pace at this stage of the game. Anyway, so Marlon is going to be your go-to guy for the Bundesliga, and that, my dear ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, is definitely going to be me. It's 3 a.m. I am flagging. I've got the 2 videos out which were meant to be for tomorrow, but I couldn't help myself. There won't be a third tonight. But as always, if you've stuck with me to the end, like the video, comment on anything that you want to see, any teams that you want to see. If you want me to do sort of hybrids down the line, comment down below. As I say, anything that you'd change, let me know. But as always, guys, the big one for me is if you can subscribe. So we're going to keep these videos coming while FIFA comes up. We're going to do Liga, which looks like it's really going to struggle this year. I think Serie A is going to struggle in terms of building teams. We'll probably do League One next and La Liga. But that is me, guys. So as always, enjoy your gaming. I hope you're looking forward to FIFA 22 and getting your hands on it and building these teams. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Like, comment, subscribe. But until then, stay safe, enjoy your gaming. But until the next one, guys, peace and love as always.